Hey everybody, it's Lisi and I have a couple of dreams to share. The first dream, well, I had a couple throughout the past 2 days, 2 to 3 days. I got some scriptures that God led me to and everything, so it's gonna be good, okay? So the most recent dream that I had yesterday was in regards to an ex, and I know that this is gonna help a lot of people because, I mean, obviously we don't like being used and things like that, so this is kind of like just an FYI or a warning or things to look out for when it comes to these people. So I had a dream that I was at the mall with my ex. I'm not sure, it feels like we met up there, and it was not really like a reconciliation or, you know, one of those type things where it's like I don't know, we were on good terms, quote unquote. Come on, let me get over. And we met at the mall, and for whatever reason I was buying, I mean, not for whatever reason, this is how I am, like in actual reality, like I like to buy the person that I'm with like gifts and things like that, like, you know what I'm saying, and I like gifts in return. So anyways, we were out and I was getting him things, and the things that I was getting him, like, they weren't cheap, like, you know what I'm saying, but it was like just showing like love and affection type thing or whatever. And the response and the response that I got from him was that he was like very like, sorry, I'm moving, I got like some stuff back there, but you know how at the mall they have like those little concession stands or like those little like miscellaneous tables that kind of sell like little like knickknacks and things like that. So we were at the mall and he was stopping at like those little concession stands. Let me get over. He was at those little concession stands, and so the first stand that he went to was for like a hat or something, and the hat, like, it was like special, like there was other hats on display that had like people's names on it, and like I think it was people's names, like I remember a name specifically, but there was like writing on some other ones like on display. And so he wanted one of those. So he went over there and he like went to get that hat or whatever. And it was weird. It was like, you know those hats that Russian people wear where it kind of just sits on your head? It's like a square shape. Like, it's not really like a baseball cap or anything. It was just like and it was weird because it was made out of like knit too. Like, you know when you knit things, those little long like yarn, something like that, but it had like names on it. And in my dream I was like, that's pretty cool, like, you know what I'm saying, even though in reality, like, no. But anyway, so it was like a very like whatever. And so we went there, and then the second purchase that he made was for a blanket. And the blanket, I know it's weird to say like now that I'm woke and actually saying it, but it was a blanket. And the blanket was also like made out of that knit material, I'm not sure, or that like yarn material, like it was like handcrafted type thing. And so with the last purchase, I noticed that he had a card, and I noticed that it was my card, like it was my credit card. He was making these purchases for these things with my credit card without my knowledge, without me knowing. And so like immediately it became an argument, because it's like, yo, like I'm like willingly giving you these things out of the kindness of my heart, and you're stealing, like, you know what I'm saying? And so the argument went on, and like in reality also, like when these situations used to happen, the arguments used to be like for hours. So it became like this huge argument, and it basically went around in a circle because he wasn't trying to hear his fault in the situation, like basically like gaslighting and the typical thing that, you know how pimps do, like when pimps like just like manipulation. Okay, he's not a pimp or anything, but that's that. And so, or people that use people, and when they get caught or questioned about it, they argue extremely about it or try to make you question. But anyway, so we were arguing for like hours, and to the point where he started like packing and like grabbing his stuff and making it seem like I was doing something wrong, or like I was in the wrong for questioning him about using my card for making these extra purchases. And so while we were arguing, there was like these random kids, and I don't recall, and these kids weren't my kids. One of them I feel or looked or I think was like Noel, but I don't know, it wasn't Noel. But it was like 2 kids. I have 3, so like those weren't my kids. And they started crying, and they started like, it was like a house of just chaos, like, you know what I'm saying, and like pain, everybody crying and everybody trying to be heard and understood, and just complete nonsense. And so then the dream ended. So I prayed, and I was like, God, you know, if this is a dream that I'm supposed to share, you know what I'm saying, help me understand what this dream means. And the first thing that I heard was help. And I said, in regards to the dream? And he said no, but he said in regards to that person. Though what he was doing was not cool, the spirit behind it was a help spirit, a spirit of lack, I guess. So God told me help, and then he said, it's not pertaining to the dream, it's pertaining to him. And then I was like, okay. And then he started giving me like revelation and answers to specific things throughout the dream. So number 1, the credit card. What's on the credit card? On the credit card, it has your name. So when a credit card has your name, I mean, really, you could use anybody's credit card, but typically when people use a credit card, they have to show like ID to prove that it's theirs. You know what I mean? So in the dream, when he was paying, what I noticed is like when they got done with his stuff that had like his name on it, the name was like, it didn't, like the guy that was making them was kind of explaining like, almost like I don't know what happened, or like, it wasn't like, I don't know, like shrugging like, oh, this never happened type thing. So he was throwing his hands up and stuff, but the hat that was supposed to have his name on it that he paid with my card, the name was like, it was like lines up and down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't printing his name correctly or whatever. And so, yeah, so using my card to make a purchase for himself, it's almost like, you know that song or that saying that you got a blessing with your name on it? That's what I got. But before I got the revelation about the blessing with your name on it or whatever, I had Googled, okay, what does a hat mean spiritually and what does a blanket mean spiritually? So a hat is a symbol of power. So a hat is a symbol of power, and a blanket symbolizes like security and safety. And what God was showing me is that he needed that, and was using other people's blessings or the names of others to receive those blessings, instead of acquiring those things with acquiring his own blessings, like blessings with his own name on it. And so by doing that, he'll go to these people trying to make these purchases to get these blessings with other people's things, and it's not producing because it's not his. Like, you know what I mean? He needs to, you know, go the proper route to get the blessings the correct way. But that's all the revelation I got from that is that, you know, if there's someone in your life that has a history, or the ex try to come back and they have a history of like using you and things like that, it's because they need help, and they have to go the proper route to receive those blessings. They can't, because the thing is, the blessings that someone gives you off their own strength are sufficient. But when they start, you know, using you for your blessings, that's when it's not going to produce. So I guess that's also like confirmation that that's that, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to fall through. They have to seek God for their own blessings. And when they are blessed, be sure that when they show gratitude, just make sure that they're not doing extra. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe even like check your like your card history, making sure that, you know, check your money, make sure your money ain't looking funny or anything like that. If you have like a boyfriend that has a history of doing this, or even if they don't have a history of doing it, still look at your like purchases and things like that, making sure that someone isn't stealing from you and things like that. But yeah, so that's that. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.